Hey there, YouTube. I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Hope you're all having as beautiful a Sunday as I had here. The weather's just been perfect today. Just got back from the park a little while ago, got some vitamin D, a little fresh air, and yeah, it's just been a good weekend. I'm getting some amazing watermelon these days. So I've had watermelon juice today, chocolate chip ice cream, so life is good. Anyhow, today what I want to talk about is weight loss, calories, and intermittent fasting on a raw food diet. Guys, I got lots of videos here. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate if you go down and hit that red subscribe button and then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. This is all just from my experience today. I'm not going to cite studies and talk about this and that and all this sciencey stuff. Just going to kind of tell you how it's worked out, played out for me. Now I'm going to go back and give you a little background for the people that haven't heard it before. If you've watched my channel for a while, you probably have heard me explain this story, but I'll do it as quickly as possible. Don't assume. I think a lot of times people assume when I talk about weight and I talk about how it's just so easy for me to maintain. Actually, I can eat all I want to, trying to gain a little bit. I think people assume that I have one of those fast metabolisms, or, oh, you were probably always, lean or skinny or whatever. I was a fat kid. I was probably, when I was in the 5th grade, I remember being like 140 pounds. I think I wore the same size pants as I do now. I lost weight in about between the summer between the 6th and the 7th grade, but I was still kind of a big guy in high school. When I graduated high school, I'm 6'2". I was 195 pounds. During college, I was a big old boy, but I ate like a madman. I drank. I went to the gym. I was 245 at my highest in college. Point being, like, I was always a bigger guy. Now, after I was a child, I was never like big fat. I would go through periods of time where I'd have a belly, I'd be a little bit overweight, but I was never, like huge fat. But it was always the same with me as I went through life, through my 20s, through my 30s, through my 40s. Every time I'd get a little bit heavy, it was just the same as other people when I tried to lose weight. You had to do all this. You'd go on a diet. You would restrict yourself. I remember going to the gym and thinking, okay, got to do cardio every day. And you had to do all these little tricks to do it. Since the very first day that I started following this lifestyle, I feel like I've just been like holding on to this crazy, riding this big animal or something, because I can eat everything I want and I don't have to worry about my weight. And it's no trick. It's nothing. I'm never hungry. I'm always satisfied. That's the trick right there. I don't ever think about it. I can eat all I want all day, every day, and not worry about the weight part of it. Calories count. Yes, calories count. I hate when I hear that kind of pseudo-sciencey type approach, like, well, it doesn't matter, calories. And I don't like to stress to people, I don't want you counting calories or obsessing, getting on the scale every morning or weighing everything, but just have a good idea of what you're putting in your body, how much. First of all, is be aware of how many calories roughly, or the volume of food that you need to put into your body to maintain. And then you just add a little bit, take a little bit away based on whether you want to lose or whether you want to gain weight. But those calories definitely do count. Now, I don't necessarily agree when it comes to people just saying a calorie is a calorie is a calorie is a calorie. Like, in other words, like you don't want to just be eating tons of fat. In other words, like you don't want, I wouldn't say, even if you're eating an adequate amount or the right amount of calories for your size and your energy level, and this is just me advising, I wouldn't want 30 or 40% of that to be fat. So I do believe that there is something to the composition of those calories. It's not just straight up, okay, I took this amount of calories in. But calories in, calories out, whether you like it or not, it's not sexy. It doesn't go with the woo-woo model of raw, but that's just part of it right there. You may have heard me say it a million times, but I will double down on it time and time again. The cleaner you can eat, the more you can eat. And generally, the more people eat, they're going to be satisfied. You can eat more often. You can eat more when you're eating, when you're packing it full of fat, when you're making those. Though, in other words, like, that fat is not going to satiate you. That processed stuff, even if it's raw, it's not going to satiate you. It's because it's just the density of the calories. When you're eating fat, you're just taking in so much smaller amount of calories. The less fat, the less processed, just basic food, you can eat so much of it. So think about that. The cleaner you eat, the more you can eat. Look, this isn't rocket science, and that's why that's why I stay in my lane when I talk about weight and whatever, and I don't go into all this, okay, well, now when this happens in the body when you do this, blah, blah, blah. I know, I've been doing this for 8 years now. I've seen how, and I've felt how different things, different places, different ways of eating, just with variations, works on me. Plus watching, observation. If you want to do something, observe people that have been successful at it. And maybe it's not me. I mean, that's however you define success. Maybe you see another raw food person out there, but look at these people who adapted this lifestyle of eating, and it just clicked and it started working for. So many people are taking advice from people that have been just kind of plodding along for years and years and years. I'm thinking about the people I know. Raw Food Romance. She didn't putz around. She did it. She got in there. She lost her weight. She's maintained her weight. I don't know. That was 4 years ago when we were hanging out together in Costa Rica. I think she's been doing this lifestyle like 5.5 to 6 years now. She lost her weight, boom, that was it. But there wasn't this long process. She didn't try this. She didn't do a whole lot of convoluted stuff. We don't eat exactly the same, but the point that I'm making is even I can look at people outside of the way that I do it and take observations from them and extrapolate that and maybe pass that on to somebody else that's maybe not going to do exactly like me. So all I'm getting out there is emulate people that are succeeding at what you're trying to do. There's too much talk out there. There's too many programs. There's too many books and this and that. The proof is in the lifestyle. The proof is in what you see. The proof is in what is your weight? Have you lost the weight? Have you kept it off? But listen to people who have lost the weight and kept it off, or have maintained weight. Like I said, the maintenance is more impressive to me than anything else, because I never in my life knew something. It was always kind of an up and down. Okay, you get a little out of control, you dial it back. I've never had such steady over a number of years. Now, one thing I have, so I could actually keep more weight on, because I figured out it's not so much that my body's doing anything different, but once this warm weather, hot weather sets in, my appetite just drops. I have to really work it to get enough food in, because I'm just not that hungry. My body's, sometimes I'm like, all right, you need to eat, and I'm just like, I just don't feel like it. So that's why I've been kind of playing with, and I'm no expert, and I don't think anybody is. I see so much bullshit, just woo-woo stuff out there on intermittent fasting, and there's just not enough, it's just not really enough of a thing where there's that much data on it. So I've just gone by, I've played around with it a little bit on my own, and here's what I've found. Like, a lot of times, the more you narrow that window of eating, I find that your body tends to burn it more. So what I've been doing, like, since I want to keep a little bit more weight on, I need to put a couple bit more pounds on after this spring. I was walking like a madman in the spring. So I go back and forth with that window. I've been extending that window a little bit. In other words, like where I used to always eat my dinner like by 4 in the afternoon, now I'm stretching it out. I might eat something lighter. I might not eat my whole thing. I might eat something like about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then eat again at like 6 or 6:30, and extend it a little bit. And I found that help a little bit. Now you could do the opposite. Maybe you're the opposite. Maybe you start eating at, I don't know, maybe you start eating at 7 o'clock in the morning, and you eat all the way, maybe you eat all through the day, and you eat at 7 or 8 o'clock at night when you finish your eating for the day. Shorten that window a little bit. Play with it. Just see how it goes like that. But I have found that there is a little bit of it does help a little bit. I've found that very useful. And I find like my body holds on to a little bit more. Like I say, I'm talking the reverse. But weight is weight is weight is weight. What you do to lose weight, you can kind of reverse that to add a little bit weight, or just use the same principles to keep your weight about the same. But weight shouldn't be a thing on this lifestyle. Listen, and let me throw this in there for all the people that are going to throw hormonal stuff, thyroid stuff, metabolism stuff, this, that, and the other. That does exist. I don't want anybody to get all upset with me, but that is not a large percentage of the population. If we were to believe everybody that talks about it, everybody has some sort of a problem why they can't lose weight. No, stop fooling yourself with that notion. You're putting that in your head, and it's giving you when you don't lose weight because you're not, probably because of something that you're doing. Then you're like, well, my body won't lose the weight. No, 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 no. That's a small number. I think this is a huge number, but let's say 10 to 15% of people couldn't really have a substantial medical body issue why they can't lose weight, and it's much lower than that. I mean, go look, you go Google it yourself, but it's not as high as you think. So don't go to that one either. Like if you don't lose, some people, if they don't lose weight the first week, they're like, well, it's something else. It's not what I'm doing. A lot of times, and I'm going to finish with this, it's hidden things. I'm convinced. Now we're not, this wasn't a dieting type thing, but I always wondered why my mom was overweight as I was growing up, because my mom, I never saw her. My mom wasn't the kind, she wasn't eating a bunch of bad food. She wasn't like indulgent. She didn't eat a lot all the time. But I figured out later, and she even told me later, and she lost weight, pretty good bit of weight when she was like in her late 60s, that she was always nibbling throughout the day. Like she'd eat a bite, she'd take a little snack. It was like that. And she was like, she didn't really pay attention. You don't think about those. Those calories don't register in your head, but they register in your body. So, last thing, if you're really struggling on this, and this is going to help you, but if you decide, okay, well, I just can't do this and I have to have help, then it will help the person help you. You have to write it down. You have to have a food journal. You have to get yourself a food journal and write every bite and the amount and everything as accurate as possible. Write it down in your journal. There it is in black and white. Then then we don't have to have these discussions of, well, it might be this and it's this or it's this or it's that. No, this is exactly what I ate. And then then either you can figure it out or somebody could go back and help you and tell you like, well, it's because of this, 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 and this. Finally, I found a program that I can kind of do this stuff on my own. So I think I'm going to have my own food journal out here really soon, just kind of keep a hold on that. But the whole weight thing, it's like because people have been hypnotized into thinking it's this hard thing, because the diet industry is an industry because it's been going on for years. Think of all the diet books that have come out over the years. Think of all the different diets. Think of all the ones out now. Think of all the trends that come out. It changes all the time, and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, but it's not rocket science. Don't get all stressed out, and don't get so far out there that you think it's this like complicated process. I used to joke about this in Costa Rica, like if I could kidnap somebody and keep them in my compound down there for a while and feed them for a few months, they'd lose weight. 8 out of 10 of the people that say they can't lose weight would lose weight if I was able to keep them in captive like that for a few months. But a lot of it is, everything's up here. Most of it is so much up here. We psych ourselves out. I just happen to be able to, eat okay. I've somehow figured out the eating thing to feel really good, be healthy, keep my weight maintained. But I have these same psychological issues in other areas of my life, so I can relate. But anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this one today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. And I will see you again in a couple of days. Have a great week. Peace.